The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to another GoldMIne 101, our regular series of short presentations giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of GoldMIne CRM. And in this session, I'm going to cover record ownership. So, do you need to protect some of your records from other users? Do you need to hide certain parts of customer records from those users? Or maybe you've got separate sales teams and you need to have some kind of territory management so that records belonging to Team A can't be seen by Team B and vice versa, for example. So hello, my name is Tim Wilmot and my company, Wizard Systems, we're a specialist CRM system supplier who help out small and mid-sized organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing, and customer service through the use of simple and affordable software solutions like GoldMIne. So this presentation will be about a quarter of an hour or so in duration, just an overview of record ownership. It can get, there's a lot to it, depending on what kind of level you want to protect your records. So this is not meant to be an in-depth instruction on the complete capabilities of record ownership, just to explain what it is and what it does. My company, Wizard Systems, we offer lots of help options to get you started and get you running with record ownership. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got a question, please type that into the question box on your meeting control panel. You'll probably see somewhere in the top right corner of your screen. I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Also at the end, I'll give you an update on any GoldMIne product news that we've got for you. And this call is being recorded. Those listening live, you will get an email from our system with a link to the recording that you can play back as many times as you want to. And it will be on our YouTube channel as well. Wizard Systems, just go to our YouTube channel, Wizard Systems, and you'll see a GoldMIne playlist up there with well over 100 GoldMIne training videos. Okay, so let's get started. Brief mention about Wizard Systems. We're a leading supplier of CRM solutions, not just GoldMIne. We're a top leading supplier of GoldMIne worldwide. We've been supplying GoldMIne for a long time. We've implemented well over 3,000 systems, and we provide any kind of service you want around the GoldMIne product to make sure you get the most out of it. Okay, so let's get into GoldMIne then and record ownership. So here is an example record. Here is an example record, and by default, all the records in your GoldMIne system will be visible to everyone. They will also be editable by anyone that can see that record. So what record ownership does, and it's an integral part of GoldMIne, is that you can change that default behavior and you can apply this to one or many records or the whole database if you want to. And you can make this record, well, there's two elements to it. First of all, when you apply record ownership to a record, you are making it read-only to one or many users that you stipulate. Secondly, the second component of record ownership is to hide certain parts of that record, typically the bottom tabs that you see across the middle of the contact record, or the extra detailed information about that contact, or indeed the whole record. So it is completely invisible to the user. So two aspects to it: making the record read only well, hiding the record completely from that user or a group of users. To apply record ownership, you need to be a master user. So you would go to your edit menu, and if you want to do this on a record by record basis, you go to your edit menu and then record properties and then record related settings. That pops up a little window. And if I click on this middle tab here, we've got ownership. So I've applied ownership already to this record to the support team. I could apply it to a user, but typically with these teams, these groups of users, you could apply ownership to a group of people. And then we've got record kerning. How much of that record do we want to hide? Well, that could be none. They can see the whole record, but it is still read-only. All right, so the record is going to be read-only, but do we want to allow the user to see the complete record? Semi-partial means I hide the tabs. Partial is similar to that. You will actually see less information than semi-partial. So do you want to see the whole record, including the tabs, or just the top half of the screen, just the main information about that customer? And then lastly, complete is the whole record. So in any searches, if I'm not a member of that support team, I won't be able to see this record with a complete record kerning. All right, so I've applied that ownership. Let me log in as another user now who's not a member of the support team, and you'll see what I mean, what it looks like to that user. So let me now log in as a new user. Log in with their password. And that's the normal record. This user has a slightly different look and feel to the way they view their contact records. But here is a record, and I've got complete access to it under this username of Jan. Let me find another record, the record we were last looking at when I was logged in as a master user, and I changed that record ownership. So let me just do a search for this other record. There it is there, Fred Test. And that's what this user is going to see with record ownership applied. So we had a partial record curtaining. In the top half of the screen, though, all of these fields are read-only. If I click on these, I can't amend them at all. I'm clicking away. I can't touch them. I can view them. I can't amend them. And then those bottom tabs, because I selected record curtaining, partial record curtaining, hiding the tabs, I don't see that bottom half of the screen there. So that's it. Record ownership, making records read-only, hiding certain parts of the record. By default, though, remember that all records are visible to you. So this is an important consideration if you're setting up a new GoldMIne system, or you're expanding the sales team, or you have maybe less permanent members of your team or temporary members of your team, and you want to protect your records in some way. Maybe just simply making records read-only and allowing them to see the record, but they can't change it. Or in this case here, partially or completely hiding that record. If this was complete record curtaining, this whole screen would be blank white. It would say private to the actual user or group of users it belonged to. So hopefully that helped you there. Let's just pop back to answer any questions you've got. If you're used to the format of our weekly training sessions on GoldMIne, we now open it up to any questions you may have, particularly around this feature. So first question from Amy, can I apply at a later date across all records? So my example was one record. So yes, you can apply this across all records. There's a couple of ways of doing this in GoldMIne. There is the global replace feature allowing you to do that. Also on any imports, you can apply record ownership as well. As records come into the GoldMIne system, you could globally apply that record ownership. So you have to, there's a couple of fields in the GoldMIne system that control the ownership of a record and the record curtaining. So the aim of this webinar is not to explain that in detail. There can be a lot to it. It's a very clever part of GoldMIne, but to answer your question is yes, you can do this at a later date if you want to start hiding some of your records. Will, what if there is a change of user, so this person leaves and another takes over their records? Well, that would be okay. Well, the best way of doing that, and we actually handle this on last week's training session. You would use in GoldMIne the territory realignment wizard. That allows you to change records from user A to user B, and if you're actually using the record ownership feature in GoldMIne, it will allow you to change the ownership from old user to new user, so that you're observing that security that you had in place for the previous user. So yes, Will, you most likely use, when you know the new user's details, you pop in the new user and then you'd apply that territory realignment wizard. And that is in one process. If you catch our webinar, I think it was last week, it's up on our YouTube channel anyway, that will take you through that simple process from start to finish. Right, don't think there's any more questions coming through. So we're still not in our offices right now. We're all working from our home locations, and we're providing all training online at the moment. So if you do have any requirements for training, if you're getting a bit more active in your company and you want some refresher training or some admin training, typically this record ownership would be the job of an administrator of GoldMIne rather than the ordinary users. Typically, the larger the GoldMIne implementation, the more likely we're going to see record ownership being a key requirement. But if you want any kind of training on GoldMIne, please contact any of us at Wizard Systems for details on training to suit you, your level, your location, wherever you are, and timings. The latest release, so we did have a new release of GoldMIne, and that is 2020.1. This release includes an important, and in some cases, and check with our support team, in some cases, a required update to email security. Very, very important. And along with other secure connection and password management enhancements in this. So if you use an external email host, you will need this release to enable a more secure OAuth protocol, OAuth protocol. Basically, Office 365 and Google, for example, have set deadlines late 2020 now because of COVID. It was going to come in May, June time, but that was postponed and moved back to later this year to implement these security requirements. So it's very important that you plan now an upgrade of your email system to comply with Microsoft and Google. So we've got a bit of time now, and the 2020.1 release has all of that in it. We will be releasing a video on this capability. It'll be up on our YouTube channel pretty soon. We're just in the process of preparing that for you, and we may cover it on a future training session as well. But it's more of a techie type thing. Wouldn't interest ordinary users. Suffice to say, your GoldMIne system is going to be nice and secure, and it's going to comply with these email changes. Now, to get latest upgrades, the only way of getting an upgrade to GoldMIne is you've got to be on an annual maintenance contract from Wizard Systems. So this is a fairly low cost annual payment you make to us, and that this allows you to access any latest updates to GoldMine, and depending on what type of maintenance and support contract you've got, getting your help desk support from Wizard Systems as well. There is a special offer if you've been out of the maintenance for more than 3 years. There's quite a good price right now through to the end of September, I believe September 30th. And if you want to save some money and get on the latest version of GoldMine, then please make contact with us, any of the team here or myself, and we can give you a price for getting back on the latest version. So that's it for this week's training session on GoldMine record ownership. If you've got any suggestions for future training topics, please drop me a line. It's Tim Wilmot. Email is tim@wizard-systems.com. There's our YouTube channel, Wizard Systems, all one word. If you want to go up and check out our other GoldMine videos up there, there's a GoldMine playlist as well. Ideal for using in your lunch hour, maybe. Lots of different GoldMine topics covered there. But we'll catch up same time next week. Normally every Wednesday, 10 a.m., we run our free GoldMine training sessions on different topics in and around GoldMine and CRM. But thanks for those of you watching live. Thanks for your attendance, and we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.